I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Malone will inbound. Fisher's in the game. Walton, O'Neal, and of course Bryant.
And everyone is paying attention to Kobe Bryant.
They start with Shaq. He gives it to Walton. Here comes Kobe. Less than 5 from way outside. Got it! Oh, man! With 2.1.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait. Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
Welcome once again to another installment of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that dynamic duo, Cole Johnson. The other half will probably join me momentarily. On tap for today, we're going to debut a new segment that we're going to try to do daily at the top of the show. You will know what it's called when I get to it. Also, we're going to touch on, of course, some of the aftermath of Game 2 and preview a little bit of Game 3 of the NBA Finals. We will also touch on Deshaun Watson because I think I have something to send. And there's other things that I want to talk about. And here we go, says Sig Diggy. How you doing, brother? All the way from Scandinavia is he. And if you want to be in the number like Sick and others that we know, like A Pizzle and K Peeps and Cool McCain and Ryan and Andrew and Ethan and Trisha and that Critical Broncos fan, all you got to do is just simply look at BS3 Network. We are there live right now on Roku TV. And good morning to you, Sick. We are also live on YouTube. You heard me correctly. We're live on YouTube. That's right. Go to youtube.com/C/Snowman in the Morning 50. That's Snowman in the Morning 50. You will be amongst Sick and the others to contribute and get into the chat and talk because everybody in the chat is fam. And while you're at YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so we know that you're going to get any and all content that comes from here. And at the folks at the BS3 Network, we say hello and we salute to all of you. And he says, Sig dig ye. All right, so we're going to debut a new segment that we start off the show with. I know that is improper English and grammar. I know all of my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade teachers will smack my wrist for it. So be it. We're going around the horn. And John, the Critical Broncos fan, says, hey, Cole, we are live on the Tube of You or the Book of Face. Yes, we are also on the Book of Face as well. As a Critical Broncos fan so eloquently stated. He says, good morning to UBS3. And we start with the NHL. I know it sounds really strange that we're actually starting with NHL, but we have to start there. The Colorado Avalanche, they rally once again. They get into overtime, tied at 5, and with a goal in overtime, they send themselves to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2001. 6-5 victory over the Edmonton Oilers, completing the 4-game sweep in Edmonton on Monday. So it was a wonderful, exhibition of one team just simply dominating over another. And, of course, people in Denver are absolutely excited because it harkens back to the days where they used to have this heated rivalry with the Red Wings, and where it seemed as though they were trading places in the Western Conference as to who was going to represent them in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's harking back to those days. So congratulations to the Avalanche as they make their way, and now they await who is going to join them between the Lightning and the Rangers. Right now, as we speak, it is 2-1 in favor of the Rangers. Game 4 is tonight in Tampa. Now we move over and shift to the NFL where we talk about Aaron Donald. I know you almost thought I was going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, but no. Aaron Donald, we have to focus on him because his contract got reworked. And remember, it was talking scuttlebutt that he was going to retire after winning a ring if he got one. So, of course, the Rams back in February got the ring. And of course, he sealed the deal with the game-clinching sack in the Super Bowl. And there was talk of him not coming back because he approached the pinnacle of his career. He's in his prime. He doesn't really have much to prove because he pretty much is almost unanimously considered by just about everybody, whether it's players, coaches, owners, fans. He is considered the greatest defensive player in the NFL today. So there was talk of him being retired, but this reworked contract making him the largest paid non-QB in NFL has now said otherwise. So they reworked his contract, and now his deal gives him $40 million more. And he actually ended up getting a raise over the last 3 years of his contract. And now he is the first non-QB to eclipse that $30 million per year plateau. And so he's going to be paid eventually over the lifetime of his contract, this contract, 95 years, which is, of course, going to extend from 2022 to 2023 to 2024. It is well earned. It is well deserved. And I have nothing else to say except, big man, keep doing what you're doing because you are a stud and a half. Ooh. That Critical Broncos fan says, I love watching Aaron Donald, and I'm glad the deal was made, but it's a bit pricey, and he'll make Christmas suck for my Broncos. Yeah, I forgot they do play each other on Christmas. Here's what I say about the Rams. They seem to have creative budgeting. I think that's the best way I could put it, because I don't know how they could spread it all thin with all these big names and not be so far above the cap they can't afford anybody. But I guess they're paying for it and paying through the nose because they keep trading draft picks in the first and second rounds to, I guess, get these big names. Who knows? But that might come to bite them. I'm not sure. It depends on how they maneuver the rest of the contracts underneath them. But that is a really good point. Six says there's no better way to go out than on a high note. Yeah, and part of me is surprised he did not go on that high note. Playmaker, how you doing? Darnell Playmaker Salinas, tune into his show. He's a wonderful, wonderful host himself. He says Aaron Donald got every deserved penny. I'll leave that up there until I get to the next topic, because this is 100% what I feel. He earned every single bit of that money. And he says OBJ is next. It looks like the wheels have been greased for him to come back and get a big-time deal with the Rams. Because he seems to have a really good rapport with Sean McVay, the head coach of the team. So I'm thinking that, yeah, you might be right. I think he might still be a Ram coming into the fall of 2022. Hopefully his knee is just about ready to go by the time we get to the beginning of the regular season. Mr. Al High. Yes, I love you, brother. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you. And shifting more into another football realm, longtime NFL quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. He calls it quits. Now, I know you're saying, well, wait a minute. This guy was a journeyman. I mean, he played for so many teams. You almost have to ask, which teams did he not play for? Well, okay, let me see if I can get them all. So he was drafted by the Rams. He also played for the Bengals. He also played for the Bills, the Titans, the Texans, the Jets, the Buccaneers, the Dolphins, and the Commanders. But of course, they weren't called the Commanders. They were called the Washington Football Team. Now, it looked as though he was due to get to a playoff spot with Miami when he was there in 2020. However, they did not. So he started 147 games. He threw for almost 35,000 yards, 223 touchdowns with 169 picks. And he had this wonderful career, and he never made the playoffs. I always found that to be the most interesting thing about him. He's made his rounds all throughout the league, but he never got a chance to have a postseason appearance. Crazy, but that is what happened. But I have to give him much credit. I love his dogmatic personality. The fact that he feels as though he should compete every single time at every single juncture, and who knows? He now, to me, is this generation's Don Strock. Now, I know some of you might say to yourself, "Who the heck is a Don Strock?" Okay, well, I'll shift it a little bit more toward Frank Reich, like the early '90s. So think of Fitzpatrick as that, but he got a chance to start more. I think that's the best way I could put it. He was the backup that had the ability to start, but if you had him play a full season, he'll give you mediocre returns, but he will not give you returns to make you say, "Aha, this guy can lead us to a championship. This guy can lead us to a Super Bowl." Heck, you couldn't even say this guy could lead you to an AFC or NFC championship game. But kudos to Ryan. He goes off to the sunset. I hope everything is good with him. That Critical Broncos fan says the Rams really are the modern version of what George Allen kept preaching and kept preaching themselves on a competitive note. Yeah. It's just they've tilted the age wheel just a little bit younger than George Allen. Yeah. Because you can't really call them over the hill, but they have a lot of guys who are just about in their prime, who in about a couple years will probably be over the hill. Six says that Critical Broncos fan. Remember when Elway chose to retire then to try to win a third consecutive Super Bowl? What if? Six says, in the words of Curtis Blow, these are the breaks. Break it up, break it up, break it up, break down. Now, I did not have this scheduled in Around the Horn, but I'll actually mention this now. So the Broncos, I know this will make that Critical Broncos fan somewhat happy. They've been put on sale ever since February, but they found their new owner. Yes, after 4 months of ownership and the Pat Bowler Conservatory selling their, I guess, shares, they now have a new owner, and that owner now is one Mr. Rob Walton. Now, I know you're saying, well, wait a minute. Is that the same guy who is the heir of Walmart? Yeah, very same, very same. So I'm not surprised that this guy, who I think is worth $5 billion, well, actually worth more than $5 billion, but I think he's going to be probably paying that much for it. I'm not surprised that he's actually getting the chance to be the lead bidder and actually going to be the guy who's going to own the team. He seems to fit the bill for how the owners are now. Part of people's expectation was they wanted to have Peyton Manning own the team, but of course, he doesn't have enough capital to own a team yet. Now, he could be part of a conservatorship, a part of a consortium, where, sort of like what the situation that Magic Johnson finds himself in, where he owns, I believe, like a quarter of the Dodgers. Like, I could see Peyton doing that, maybe even broken down into even bigger, smaller chunks, like maybe an eighth of a team. I could see him doing that for now, and he's making inroads into being an owner. So there's going to be a time when he's going to be a principal owner of a football team. I know it. That day has not arrived, but he would have made a lot of people in Denver extremely happy, because when you mention Peyton Manning, do you even have a bad thought that comes to your brain other than, I wish the guy didn't beat my team? I mean, besides that, what bad thing could you say about Peyton Manning? So I'm not surprised that Rob Walton is going to become the owner of the team. Playmaker says, does that mean Walmart owns the Broncos? Wise, he says, good morning, brother. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you. That Critical Broncos fan answering 6 says, the problem is some guys from the 1998 season were gone from the offensive line and Steve Atwater. I doubt if it would have been a three-peat. Yeah, because, well, heck, we saw what happened with Terrell Davis the very next year. I'm thinking, did he even play half the season? I don't think he even played half the season in 1999. I loved how that brother ran for them in 96, 7, and 8. Playmaker. You're a trip playmaker. That might, yeah. But I don't think the savings will be passed down to the Broncos season ticket holders, though. 6 says that critical Broncos fan. That is correct. And Shannon Sharp would join the Baltimore Ravens and win the 3rd Super Bowl. Yeah. So yeah, I really believe that Elway saw the handwriting on the wall and said, yeah, I think it's time to go. Plus, his body was failing him. That critical Broncos fan says ownership issues amongst the bowling kids is done, but Walton isn't an ideal choice for me. He's not an ideal choice for me either. It's just a choice that I'm not surprised to see because he seems to check all the boxes when it comes to the ownership of the league. You know, he seems to be a guy that has the values that most of the owners hold. He seems to either have made money from another business or has come up from money with some of the owners that have had, well, you talked about it with the bowling children. Although the team was put up in a trust, but you know, the prime example I could think of is the Chiefs with the Hunts and the Titans with Bud Adams' children. You have a lot of these teams who the owners actually either come from money, either they make the money from another industry, or they, I hate to say it, trust fund children. 6 says, good morning, stuck in my mind. How you doing, fam? And Wyatt says, Elway had a chance to be $98 million richer. Yes, he did. Good morning, sick. And I think this is what is going to make John sick and me too. Walmart Stadium doesn't have a good ring to it. Isn't that the truth? Oh, yeah. And thank you, Al. And of course, there is the Steelers with the Rooneys. As if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the 3rd iteration of the Rooneys owning the team. So Rob Walton, from that aspect, from the wallet aspect, and from, I think, the countenance aspect, fits what I think the ownership group of the NFL is seeking. And I think if they were to, dig deep with themselves and actually find out what it is they really care about, Walton reflects it to a T. Shifting from football to baseball. So Mike Trout, it was known that he had a huge drought. Hadn't had a hit since May 28th. And for his last 26 appearances, he's got the donut. So he broke out of that donut against the Red Sox at home in Anaheim last night. However, the Angels couldn't get on the board. So they lost 1-0 to the Red Sox, which made them lose for the 12th consecutive game. So I guess that hot start they had really hasn't done wonders for them. The Angels manager, Joe Madden, who I have a whole ton of things to say against, strategy being one of them, had to say about the struggles of Mike Trout and possibly even the struggles of the Angels. Quote, he's arguably one of the best players, top 3, and maybe the best by the end of time. And today he was taking batting practice at 12:30 against guys we had to bring in to throw to him. That tells you about the motivation. Close quote. Now, before I actually bring on my cohort, I think what we're seeing here is I believe we're seeing a guy who is pressing too hard. And I think this is the thing you see in baseball. When you want something to be done so badly that you really want to break through, you almost are going to slip further into said rabbit hole. So I think that's what you're seeing with Trout. And by extension, that's what you're seeing with the Angels, which is unfortunate, but that is how it is going. And before I go to the last topic of Around the Horn, let me properly introduce
If I were Joel Embiid, I'd run like hell. Urbingologist, why is your leader a horrible basketball player? Ben Simmons, get out of the league. Period. I'm talking about number 33, Roger Craig.
And you don't lose to the same team in the Super Bowl twice. LeBron James as a basketball player is pure, unadulterated trash and has been for 20 years.
My partner is joining me today, Brian Snow. How are you, my man?
And I sincerely apologize to you and the crew for running late. It's unacceptable. We had talked about tightening up the ship, and simply put, I overslept.
Oh.
You get in that one position in bed, and no alarms go off. But again, unacceptable. I'm here. We're going around the horn, and I love it. And yeah, that's our working title for our opening.
All right.
Give you a touch on everything real quick. Congratulations to the Avalanche.
Yes.
For reaching the Stanley Cup Finals, first time since 2001. Aaron Donald's now the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL and well deserved for the Super Bowl champion.
100.
Ryan Fitzpatrick calling a career after 17 years. What? No more Fitzmagic? Okay. So we'll have to find another journeyman quarterback we'll have to hitch our wagon to instead of Fitzmagic. Question of the day, quick question of the day.
Yep.
Which team did you enjoy Fitzmagic the most on? Touch on that later.
Okay.
Mariners and Astros clear the benches after an errant pitch in the top of the ninth, and Scott Service led his team out there. That's what you call a leader. And watch the Mariners this year.
They're tough.
Mike Trout, you're trying too hard, and the Angels are still the Angels. You know
how well put did you that? Yes.
Look, the Angels are still the Angels, man. They're just there. They're like the Detroit Tigers. They're just there. You know, I'm getting all the audio set up for Realwise Radio and WSDMDB and everything like that. Once again, I am running late. I am so sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, we're going the full 120 minutes, maybe even longer, so we can cover everything.
Definitely.
But do the Angels know how to play baseball? Let me just throw that out there. Do they know how to play baseball? I mean, Mike Trout going over 12, or over 26. I beg your pardon. Angels losing 12 in a row. I mean, this is a movie we've seen before. This is a movie we have seen before. And unfortunately for the Angels, it won't change until they get some people in charge that actually want to win. Period.
I think what sucks is I never thought I would see an organization ride a championship so long, but it seems like they've been living off of the glory of 2002 ever since they won their championship. And now it's 20 years since that's happened. And it seems as if they have this motivation of, well, we got these big names, so we have the big name manager. Well, we'll break through this year, and they get thoroughly disappointed.
The power, or lack thereof, the power of Mike Scioscia, because Scioscia took him to that. Yep, Scioscia took him to that title. Okay, and did nothing since. All right, the closest the Angels got was 2005. Yeah, when they lost to the White Sox 4-1. Yeah. So they rode that title up until 2005, as I said, until the White Sox smacked them around. You know, much love to AJ Przinsky and his stuff that he did. Yeah. But and Mike D'Antoni interviewed for the Hornets job. Why?
See, that's perfect.
Why? Let's finish. Let's finish going around the horn.
Oh, you just finished it right there, because that's exactly.
Oh, I did. Okay, cool.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like
Why?
Jordan, why are you wanting to have this guy run your team? But that's neither
You
here
know,
nor
and
there.
the scary part is the scary part is D'Antoni is probably going to wind up getting the job
Yeah.
because it just seems to me no one else wants it. It's like the Laker job. No one else wants it.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
No
That's
one
how I'm
else
looking at
wants. No one else wants it. No one else wants it.
Yeah.
You
That's
know, and
that's
that's the scariest. That's the scariest thing. That
yeah.
no one wants
No one wants a job.
No one wants the Hornets job. It's
Mhm.
like Jay Spivey said, and I know I'm going to piss off a lot of Hornets fans, but I don't care. It goes like this. I would love for Charlotte to be a destination for free agents.
It
But the best
should.
free agents they've attracted so far is a fellow who can't stay on the floor. And of course, I'm talking about Gordon Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
So they expect Gordon Hayward and Lonzo Ball to like come together, and nothing's happening.
I mean, it should be a destination. You have who many consider to be the greatest player of all time owning the team, and in a basketball
majority owner, by the way, folks.
Yeah, a majority owner in a basketball-rich state. I mean, they sell the. You know this. You know this better than me, and I've lived there 2 years.
I lived in Carolina.
They focus.
They are basketball nuts.
They focus on the NCAA as they do the NBA. If not, well, when I was there, they focused on it heavier.
More.
Yeah,
if not more.
So yeah, you would think Charlotte would be the place many people want to go to just for those two reasons alone. Not so much. Why I said talking about the merits, and I talked about the ownership, the Broncos possibly being owned by Rob Walton, the heir of Walmart, and I was saying that he fits the mold of the ownership groups that these that the NFL wants. He has the countenance, he has the wallet. So I'm thinking, okay, well, he's the perfect fit.
There's no old school ownership stuff anymore.
No,
there isn't.
No, Ryan. No.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning to you, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. He says happy Tuesday. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
James Borrego should never have been fired. That's the stupidest thing the Hornets have ever done. And this iteration of the Hornets, that's the stupidest thing they've ever done is fire James Borrego. It shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened. He was leading their team. But when you draft, and I again borrow from Jay Spivey, when you draft in the middle of the first round all the time, you're not going to find the best players there. You'll find a diamond in the rough, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, that is about as far as it goes. Playmaker says 12 straight L's. Talking about the Angels, shaking my head.
About the Angels.
I'm the same.
Hey, what's up, Playmaker? Cool McCain. Good morning to you, Sick Diggy, Chris Dietz. Good morning to all. Good morning to all of you guys.
Definitely.
Oh man.
Playmaker says this is echoing your sentiments. Is that this is every year with the Angels?
It is.
That critical Broncos fan also says the Angels are a joke and have the best players being show ponies, which I saw that comment
exactly
and wanted to rush to it. That's exactly how I feel about the Angels. That's exactly how I feel.
That's how they are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they've been, like you said, since that championship in 2002.
Yeah.
Okay. They get smoked by Boston in 2004. They got swept by Boston in 2004, lost to the White Sox in 2005, and they haven't done a damn thing since.
Yeah.
They haven't done a damn thing since, and that's sad when you have a fellow, the talent of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. You have one-trick ponies right there. And you have one-trick ponies right there. It's like the Cubs had with Sammy Sosa for years.
And all they can manage is 500. That to me is a head scratcher. They consider Trout to be once in a generational talent, and the same thing with Ohtani, and that's as far as they get.
That's as far as they get.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. Let me get the rest of these.
It is.
Yeah, 6 says, Ryan, by the way, how's that young intern? Are they learning how to become a better adult? That's a conversation
That's a
that
damn
started
good
yesterday.
question.
Why says
That's a damn good question.
he said Why said also with the Angels, it didn't help that they ran to a buzzsaw that is the Yankees. Of course, Why is
True.
a Yankees fan, but
True.
he's correct. It did not help. Cool.
No,
How
it
you
didn't.
doing, brother? Good morning to you.
Cool McCool. Danger is his business. I love it.
I love that
I
too.
love
6 says, good morning, Snowman. It's understandable. Sometimes we have testing times. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
6 says, cool. Good morning to you. Cool. That critical Broncos fan, which I love, John. He says,
John, I love you.
Ryan Fitzpatrick has the second most touchdowns from his draft class 2005, which is true. He does.
Yet he couldn't latch on to a team for more than 4 years.
Yeah. Christopher Dietz, he will be on tomorrow. We will continue his Summer of Greatness series. He says the Angels doing Angels things. Man, you all in the chat are you're just eating this up and you're doing it wonderfully and big. That critical Broncos fan comes back and says, Brian saying the Angels are the same Angels. It's like the 90s Rams being the same old Rams. Yep. That's how it was then.
Jim Everett was a good quarterback. And they had weapons, but didn't know how to use them.
Yeah, could not.
And it didn't help that they played in the same division as Bill Walsh, George Seifert, and the 49ers.
Yeah,
because they kept, except for 1985 and
the only year,
86 and 86, they kept running into San Francisco. And John Robinson, Jim Everett and company just couldn't get over the hump, especially 1989, when it seemed like the Angels were finally going to bust through. The Rams are finally going to bust through. They win their first 5, and then all of a sudden the 49ers got their act together.
Yeah,
wind up 14-2. They beat them on Monday night. Salute to John Taylor. They beat them on Monday. They beat them on Monday night. Clinch the division at Anaheim Stadium. Whew. I'll tell you what, the 90s Rams and today's Angels, equal parts of the same thing.
Oh Lord,
equal parts of the same thing.
And here's Dietz saying the only time the Angels were relevant was in Naked Gun with Enrico Palazzo. Oh God,
and
why?
And oh man, Leslie Nielsen and company in the Naked Gun. I love it.
That critical Broncos fan says also back on Fitz, he never played on an NFC West team once, which that is true. He never did.
True. Yeah.
Playmaker says they need players, talking about the Angels, who can put the ball in play other than, well, Trout isn't doing that much either. You're right. They do. That critical Broncos fan says, I don't know, Fitz being a Bronco would be him being the best we got, but also a new low for the organization after 2015 and before 2022.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, that's pretty true. Talking about the Hornets.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Dietz talking about the Hornets. LeVar Ball wants that job.
Oh hell no.
Oh Lord, no.
Hell to the. Give me a little bit.
I'm about to do it now. But yeah. Dietz, I know exactly what your heart is because you're right. He would. But Michael Jordan will be saying, woo! Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Listen. We're late.
Michael Jordan would not, after all the mess that LeVar talked about MJ in 2017, promoting Lonzo Ball, and I'm glad Lonzo Ball is now free of his father and the Lakers.
Yeah, I am.
Not even Michael Jordan would just look at LeVar with a side eye.
Of course he is. Still,
he would look at him with a side eye.
Yeah, still.
Let me promote a YouTube channel, because there's a YouTube channel that I love. It's NBA Rare Games 1975 to 83, and I'm seeing all of my rare favorites, including the ones that were broadcast on CBS. I mean, I love the coverage of the NBA on NBC. Don't get it twisted. Watched it all the way through their 12-year completion. But CBS got me started. Brent Musburger, Dick Stockton, all those guys. Man, we got more comments to get through. Jim Rome, Chris Dietz, Jim Rome or Jim or Chris Everett. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Jim Rome has one of the more popular shows.
Yes, he does.
On CBS Sports.
Morning to you too, Andrew. I hope everything is well with you, sir. I'm trying to get through all this here. He says, Six says, Snowman, you said it all wrong regarding the White Sox smacking the Angels. You were supposed to say it like Bernie Mac.
I ain't scared of you.
Oh,
all right,
Lord.
I'll stop there.
Cool says Miles Bridges is the number 2 in Charlotte. They should not have fired their coach. Yeah.
100. They should never have fired James Borrego.
Six says, Deej, you kidding, right? Talking about
the
LeVar Ball. Yeah, he's joking. D says about which Joe, Nicky Gunn or LeVar Ball?
Both.
Both, but he was a LeVar Ball, and of course he was joking, and we knew he was.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Sick also
guys,
says,
how do I sound? I don't have my mic. I'm using my tablet. My mic's plugged into my computer. I may switch to my computer here in a moment. Do I sound okay?
Yeah,
let me know in the chat. Do I sound all right?
Yeah, Deets Six says good. Talk about Deets. No one needs to see LeVar Ball coaching an NBA team. Well, yeah, you're right about that. And Ryan says the answers remind me of the 1980s Yankees. All that talent, but they couldn't put it together. The only difference was Art Moreno is not as bombastic or headline driven as Mr. Steinbrenner.
This is true.
That Critical Broncos fan says the audio is good. Same thing with Deeds.
Andrew
says you sound okay. And
okay, I'll use this from now on until my reinforcements get here. I got electronic reinforcements on the way. We're due for a break.
We're due for a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals. I think we are in the midst of it as the series shifts from San Francisco to Boston. And there's another thing that we have to talk about too, because we had to get some housekeeping business done as well. You are watching Snowman in the Morning with Brian. This is Cole. We're coming right back at you.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
You're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go, babe. I'm never gonna let you go. No, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Well, I believe your husband does know all this stuff, Dr. K. You can just go to official SIT more, and that is official SIT more, and that is how you operate that Twitter thing or that Instagram thing or whatever the heck. Back at it on Snowman, the morning with Cole Johnson with Brian Snow. I am Cole Johnson. And before we get to where we go next, just have to hit these real quick. Playmaker says, be right back. Got to record a new episode. Man, it is great to have you here, my brother.
Man. And have everybody here.
And he has a lot of good shows over the Playmakers blog. That man is doing big things, and we're so glad to be
check him out. With him. Check him out. I'm glad to have him as part of the family.
Definitely. 6 says, picture of Myra Sharp interviewing LeVar Ball asking,
why'd you have to piss off Michael Jordan?
6 says, you sound good and clear,
Thank
Snowman.
you.
That Critical Broncos fan says, news just came that Deebo Samuel has attended 49ers minicamp. We will get to that momentarily.
Oh, yeah, baby. And I'm telling y'all right now, they're working on a long-term deal for Deebo. I'm telling y'all that right now.
And Ryan says, yes, audio was good. You need coffee, though.
Dude, I woke up. Listen, I woke up at 8:25 this morning. I had to, like I said, you get comfortable and y'all you're out. Okay. Wife and I were both out. And I look over to my right and I see the sun peeking through and I'm going, okay, something's wrong. And I pick up my phone, I look at it.
That's a bad feeling. Ooh.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, baby, it's 8:25. And she goes, what? What happened to the alarms? No alarms went off. None.
Oh, they didn't go
Mine
off?
nor
Wow.
hers.
Oh, wow.
Mine nor her. Either they didn't go off or we were sleeping so good we slept through them. You know?
Yeah.
Trust me, I will have my coffee when I get done here with the program.
I'm
and
sure.
when I go sit outside for a little while because it's a sunny day here. All right, let's move on quick.
Yes. Speaking of things at the snow compound. Day number 7 of 100 Days to Carolina is underway as Mr. Snow and his missus make their pilgrimage from Indiana back to North Carolina. And with more on that, here's Brian.
Oh, boy. It is indeed day number 7 of our initiative, 100 Days to Carolina. You see the ways you can donate down at the bottom of the screen. The GoFundMe is up. I am in the process of updating it with everything that went on in the past year. Let me give a shout out to my buddy Adam Freeman, who put the GoFundMe together last year after I was in the hospital with blood clots. Yeah, we're just in the process of doing as much fundraising as we can. And I also want to say that I landed a high school that's interested in my broadcast services. So nice. There's going to be an early trip down to Winston-Salem, so we can check out the facility. The athletic. I wrote an email to the athletic director, and I didn't expect him to get back to me, but he got back to me within 20 minutes. Now that is making contact. You know, there's a few things we have to hammer out. We're going to hammer it out. We're going to put it on paper. And he's also interested in using my audio with their video. so I can broadcast it on my channel as well as his. So yeah, got some electronic reinforcements coming. But folks, if you can find it in your heart to donate to the cause, and I'll repeat the goal is $60,000. There are some things that we need to take care of, moving costs, and everything, rentals, all that. We need your help. We need your help. The GoFundMe is live. You see the address at the bottom of the screen. You see the other ways that you can donate to the cause. If you get a chance tonight, Charles Faulkner and I will be doing a fundraiser on Charles Faulkner's YouTube channel, and he paid me such honor when he was on yesterday. And I hope to have Charles on the show on Friday. That's a quick update on 100 Days to Carolina.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
First and 10. Luck steps up, fires towards the end zone. One-handed catch! Mo Alley Cox!
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
And we're now on hour number 2 of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson with Brian Snow. This is Cole Johnson. You see Brian on the big screen. I'm on the little one. That will change some momentarily. And we are now on to the NBA Finals.
Well, you know what? Let's save the NBA. Let's save the NBA Finals, and let's do the hot seat. Let's do the hot seat, and then then after break we'll come back. We'll come back with the finals.
Okay.
I'm saying that due to time constraints, because we are in the second hour.
Yeah.
Okay. And want to make sure we get everything in.
All right. Well, as before the finals began, the commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, decided to sort of give the State of a League address, and many things in that sort of had me a little shaken but not stirred, sort of like the James Bond drink. And because of that, Mr. Silver, it's time for you to enter the Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson hot seat. Now, the reason why he is entering said hot seat is because of the thought process of shortening the regular season. He actually is considering tweaking that part as well. And he went on to say in said press conference, in the State of the League address, so to speak, quote, "In terms of determinations for all NBA fair, I feel it's a fair consideration would be going into whether the media should be picking up top players by playing position by position. I think we're a league that has moved increasingly toward positionless basketball in the current system may result in some inequities based on happenstance, whatever your position may be." Man, it's upsetting when I look at him. Sorry about that. He goes on to say,
"You fool! You fool! You fool!"
He goes on to say, "I think we all know that for any negotiation, of course, because this is a negotiation but between trying to stay where they are and shorten the season, seemingly collective bargaining in particular, deadlines are really helpful to get people to push their best offers across the table." Close quote.
Can I say it again?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
A shout to Gilbert Gottfried from his appearance on Hollywood Squares in 1998. "You fool!"
So he went on to also say, quote, As I have said before, what we don't need is increased number of injuries as the season goes on. It's not as if because of fatigue over the course of a season, you see more injuries. We do see a connection between actual fatigue, for example, from back-to-backs or 3 in a row. We think that potentially can lead to more injuries. Close quote. All right, before I give you the floor, sir, let me say a couple of choice words.
Please.
So you mean to tell me that you all have done all you can to eliminate a lot of the back-to-backs as of recent? Because back in Snowman's and my day, when we were little tykes, the teams that won championships, if I'm not mistaken, they would have at least 11, maybe even 12 back-to-backs in a given season. And maybe even a couple of times they would play 4 games and 5 nights on road trips.
Yep.
That was how the schedule used to be, but I thought you got together with the NBPA, the labor association that represents the players, and decided to extend the season. Correct me if I'm wrong, because didn't the season used to begin around Halloween and it stopped in mid-April?
Yep.
And now the season starts sometimes in mid-October, sometimes the second week in October, and it's extended to mid-April, which gives you exactly 6 months now to play this season, which means that is less back-to-backs, which that means that you pretty much eliminate any 3 games in a row, because that was rare. The only time I ever saw it scheduled was the 1999 season, when you had to fit so many games in a given slot and the span. Because even then, the NBA was talking about, well, we don't want to play back-to-back-to-back games. So to me, that has no bearing. So you have extended the season already to eliminate a lot of the back-to-backs. You have trainers and trainers of trainers. You have people who guard how they sleep. You have nutritionists who are team sponsored. You have many of these other factors that go into how a player should conduct himself healthily. And you mean to tell me you all still want to shrink the season? And then on top of it, you want to introduce crappy things, and you already have introduced crappy things, such as the play-in round, but you want to extend that by having a mid-season tournament. I don't think you heard what I said. A mid-season tournament. Forget the All-Star break, mid-season tournament. Oh, by the way, speaking of the All-Star break, it was once where you actually had teams play Wednesday. You traveled Thursday to wherever the site would be for the All-Star weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday was All-Star weekend. Then you have a travel day Monday, and teams started playing on Tuesday. Now it's a full week. All of these concessions have been made, and you mean to tell me now that you have players who are saying, wait a minute, we can't play 82 games in a season. Really? Really?
Bitch, are you for real?
The logic 1000% escapes me. I don't get it. Everything is fine. Everything is set, and everything's on a silver platter. Why do you feel the need to tinker with something that has worked for over 60 years? Ridiculous, man. Your thoughts, sir?
The play-in round sucks. And you want to introduce a mid and in-season tournament in the place of the All-Star game. First of all, Adam Silver, you ruined the All-Star game. You ruined it.
I saved that
by allowing. Listen, you want to know how Adam Silver? I blame Adam Silver for ruining the All-Star game. All you have to do is go back to 2003 with the player introductions.
Oh, yeah. That takes half an hour?
That takes 40 minutes. When in the Vita Blue hell did player introductions. And I understand it's a full team. When in the Vita Blue hell did player introductions take 40 minutes? And on top of that, when in the hell did player introductions take place on a stage?
Yeah.
I mean, you ruined Michael Jordan's last All-Star game, which was in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
What was called Phillips Arena.
2003. Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. And they moved the broadcast to TNT, which is basic pay-per-view.
And then they moved the game from the afternoon to the night.
From afternoon to evening, because for a long time games tipped at noon. Then they moved it to 3 o'clock, and I can dig 3 o'clock.
I can too.
Perfect time for the All-Star game. Okay, I'll say it again. Perfect time for the All-Star game. Spotlight introductions, dig that. The players were on the floor. You want a spotlight who's in the All-Star game. Okay, and some of the players that participate in the All-Star game now, forgive us, Snowman, for saying this, but they flat out suck.
Oh, wow.
The wrong players are being voted into the All-Star game. It's a doggone popularity contest.
Of course.
It's a doggone popularity contest instead of voting the players that actually deserve an All-Star bid. While I'm on the subject of the All-Star break, the slam dunk competition. Everyone has been trying to tell me.
You can just say next topic on that.
Everyone's been trying to tell me that they haven't seen a better slam dunk contest since 2016. And let me say it again. People are telling me the best slam dunk contest was 2016. And Cole, with the end of that statement, I need a little Dolomite, please.
Oh, no problem. Coming right up. Because I too want to say.
Bitch, are you for real?
Obviously, you don't remember 1988. Obviously, you don't remember 1987. Obviously, you really don't remember 1984. Okay? 1984, when they revived the slam dunk contest, because remember, it was only a part of the ABA. And Dr. J took off from the free throw line at McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado. Now, I know I'm long-winded on this, but I'm getting my thoughts out. Okay? If an in-season tournament is introduced, I borrow from Cole Johnson. Good Lord, I'm going to throw up. What Adam Silver needs to do is grow a set of balls and eliminate the play-in tournament. You had a perfect setup, 1 through 8. If you didn't make the top 8 slots,
so be it.
Oh, thee well. See ya. Wouldn't want to be you. And this past season showed why the play-in tournament or the competition thereof should be absolutely eliminated. Okay, I will talk about that tomorrow on my bronzexual confession.
That's
because if I let it out here, I'm going to be extremely long-winded. So I'll save that for tomorrow.
All right.
And on top of that, NBA expansion in 2024 now squelched. Oh, son of a motherless.
Now, the reason why that was highlighted was because there was talk that possibly 2 teams would be created, one in Las Vegas and the other in Seattle. And
well, go ahead and drop it and create them, will you please? Seattle should never have lost their team in the first place.
They got gypped, they got jobbed,
they got robbed, everything. And now you have people celebrating. No, say it real, Snowman. You have people celebrating the Oklahoma City Thunder when they should be celebrating, say it with me and follow the bouncing ball, the Seattle Supersonics.
sad that they are not a franchise that consistently currently plays.
Let me be the commissioner. Let me be the commissioner.
You'd move them straight out of Oklahoma City post haste?
I would move them back to Seattle and build an arena the way they wanted post haste. I would tell Oklahoma City and Clay Bennett, F you, these guys are going home. Let me say that again for those of you in the cheap seats at the old Seattle Center Coliseum. I would tell Clay Bennett and everyone involved with the Oklahoma City Thunder, you guys are going to go home. And that home is Seattle. Okay? The history has been erased. It needs to return.
Yeah, it does.
Everything. Screw Las Vegas. Well, they're probably going to put a team in Las Vegas anyway. It'll be a money draw, and I know that. It'll be a Western Conference. If they do it right, if they do it right, Las Vegas versus Seattle would be a matchup for the ages. If they do it right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But Adam Silver, don't shorten the regular season, please.
It's fine.
And don't introduce that thing called a midseason tournament. Okay, you already got the G League and the Martin Luther King Showcase. Dig that.
Yeah, cool.
And I borrow a question from Chris Deets in the chat. What the hell is the point of a midseason tournament? I mean, what are you gonna do? Copy Major League Baseball? For many years, the league that wins the All-Star game gets home field advantage in the World Series. You're going to copy that?
Mr. Silver, you have a lot on your plate, sir, and you have all of this to deal with, and you also have players who feel as though they can earn money sitting on their behinds to deal with.
Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Ben Simmons, James Hardin. Do I go on?
So when you do go to the bargaining table for the next round of collective bargaining, I want to see how far all of these things get pushed, because we all know it comes down to money, obviously. But you, sir, I'll put it to you this way. You owe us to have the regular season stay as is. And I'm saying this as you owe us, the NBA fan, the regular season stay as is. You owe us, the fan, to hold these players accountable for wanting to think they could be sometimey and actually say that they have a job to perform and do. And just because they earn 9-8 figures a year, and just because others seem to be smoking some trees thinking that they're worth billions. Yes, I'm looking at you, woke people's champion, aka Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at him for that.
That you feel as though that you have to hold their feet to fight. You must do that. You owe us as the NBA fan to do that. And to wrap up this, you owe us, the NBA fan, to put a National Basketball Association organization in Seattle and call them the Seattle
Supersonics.
You owe us all of that, Mr. Silver. And if you fail on one of those things, your commissionership, no matter what you've done before and what you do after, will be considered an absolute abject failure. Take those thoughts as you get up from our hot seat. Sucker. Now, let's talk to the fan real quick. That Critical Broncos fan talking about the hour number 2 beginning says, man, seeing Andrew Luck again gives me the feels. Loved that, brother. Loved how he played. Six says, "What? Wait, what did he just say?" Yeah, I know. I felt the same energy from Adam Silver. Ryan says, "A mid-season tournament. Can we have Bishop Bullwick comment on that?" I'll get to that in a moment. Six says, "Can somebody please show me where the logic in all this is?" Andrew agrees with Ryan. I agree with you, Sick. Deet says, "Dominique and Jordan, best dunk contest ever." Yes, that's 1988. There's not without question the best I've ever seen. Ryan says, "Don't forget the 1986 contest when one Anthony Jerome Webb won that contest." And of course, he goes by the name of Spud. And also Dominique was the unfortunate runner-up in that one as well, as Jordan, who was nursing an injury, was sitting in the sidelines, sitting in the stands. I'm sorry. Six says, "What in the Bill Laimbeer sweat-soaked face mask is the commissioner thinking?" Critical Broncos fan says, "You want to also create the Oklahoma Seahawks to get the Seattle Supersonics back?" No. No. And here's why I say that. Mr. Clay Bennett, who under false pretenses became the owner of the Sonics, decided to put forth a half-hearted effort to build a new stadium. He didn't want it, but because his ultimate goal was to take the team out of Seattle and move them to Oklahoma City, when the NBA and when the previous owner of the Sonics said to the NBA, sell it to somebody who, with the one provision of they cannot move the team from Seattle, that's the only way they can own the team. So Clay Bennett bought the team. He still moved them anyway. So in my opinion, they should take the Thunder, move them back to Seattle. And Oklahoma City, I'm sorry, they don't deserve a team, not because of the fan base, but because of that ownership group. D says, "What's the point of a midseason tournament?" Money. That's the only point of it. And even besides that, it isn't interesting to us. So I don't get why they would want to do something of a, I guess, like an Olympic-sized tournament. I don't understand it. Commissioner needs to address that. Yes, he does. Six says, "Who in Isaiah Thomas gym socks look fool?" That's Mr. Silver by the gonads. Deed says, 1, fix the lottery. 2, fix the super teams, which I think they're starting to fix a little bit. And 3, fix the All-Star weekend. Fix what's broken, not what's already working. I agree with that, Deeds. And 6 says, "What in a bland version of Dennis Rodman were the owners thinking when the Sonics were relocated?" And it wasn't that the Sonics were losing money. It wasn't they were drained of funds. It wasn't because they lacked having interest in the team from the fan base. That is what's so frustrating about the Sonics being moved from Seattle and going into Oklahoma City. All right, we are due for a break, and when we come back, I have an email to send. Yeah, I think it's time for me to send an email. You're watching and you're listening to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
If you can celebrate Christian McCaffrey having a 1,000,000 season, if you can celebrate Marshall Faulk, who had a 1,000,000 season by electing him into the Hall of Fame, then why can't we celebrate the guy who originated the 1,000,000 season with a Hall of Fame election? I'm talking about the one and only Roger Craig.
If you want some, come get some.
Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning.
Welcome back to Snowman and Wonder with Cole Johnson with Brian. This is Cole, and my goodness. Oh yes, I think I owe somebody something. Yes, I do.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Ryan says a mid-season tournament. Can we have Bishop Bullwinkle's comment on that? Oh, yes, sir, you can. You know, we love to give the chat what they want. And Bishop Bullwinkle, should the NBA even consider, much less have, a mid-season tournament?
Woo! Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no. Listen.
That felt good.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Felt good. Playmaker agrees. I'm sorry. Verified what that Critical Broncos fan says. His report said that Deebo Samuel will report to minicamp, which that really doesn't surprise me either. Now that you mention it all.
I told y'all.
Yeah.
I told y'all from jump when all these rumors started, he wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, Lord. And in the line of questioning in regards to Adam Silver that Sick was doing, Ryan joins into the fun and says, when in the Dwayne Wade's full arm sleeve was Dennis Rodman ever bland? Sick says, Ryan, have you forgotten his early days with Detroit Pistons, which he was bland there compared to how he was with the Spurs and the Bulls?
Yeah.
Six says, Ryan, how in the Chris Bosh's ugly crying face could you forget that? Oh, Lord. Ryan says,
fantastic.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I'll touch on this real quick. So those reports that came yesterday that the Los Angeles Raiders. Los Angeles Lakers.
You would have said it right. Los Angeles Raiders.
Yeah, you saw where my head was. Yeah, that's where they belong. But
Los Angeles Los Angeles Raiders. Okay.
So the Los Angeles
Shout
Lakers.
to Tom Flores.
Yeah, shout out to Tom Flores. The Los Angeles Lakers bolstered their coaching staff. So, of course, it was announced last week that Darvin Ham was going to be the new head coach there. I am so sorry for you. But joining that staff will be one Rasheed Wallace.
Okay, you touched on it. Let's move. Okay, you touched on it. Let's move on. Save the rest for tomorrow. You touched on it. Let's move on.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to do.
We'll save our NBA. Yeah. And because we were running late this morning, and so was I, we'll save all of our NBA notes, including the finals, for tomorrow, because we can really extend our coverage. Game 3 tomorrow in Boston, series tied 1 game apiece, and we'll go through all the scenarios. So when you send the slate to me, and I can get it pre-printed and the graphic done. Get it to me this afternoon. I'll take care of all the promotion business. So tomorrow we will extend our coverage of the NBA World Championship Series, and we'll touch on Rasheed Wallace on the Lakers staff, and of course it's Wednesday. I'll leave it there.
Yes.
Now there's an
doing what
email.
I was about to do.
Yeah, I got to do a little quick housekeeping. Put the scroll at the bottom of the screen, please. Do us a favor, folks. If you like the show, please donate to it, and please donate to the cause of 100 days. 100 days to Carolina. I'll have another update tomorrow. That critical Broncos fan, San Diego doesn't deserve a disloyal owner in Spanos.
Ain't that
Amen
the truth?
to that, sir. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can we have our Los Angeles Raiders, San Diego Chargers matchup back, please? I mean, San Diego can walk out of Los Angeles right now, go back home.
Oh, Lord.
Kick Spanos out, get an owner in place that actually cares about the city of San Diego, its fans, because I know a lot of Charger fans that want to go back home.
Yeah. And home is San Diego to them.
Home is San Diego, just like home is Seattle for the Supersonics.
Why, John?
Fool.
Right. Why, John? And we need the Las Vegas Chargers. Why, John? Why that critical Broncos fan?
John, shut up. I love you, John, but don't put that thought in. And this is on top of Brent Musburger being told he will not return as the voice of the Las Vegas Raiders, which makes me angry and makes me not a fan anymore because, well, let's find out who the voice will be. And you know what? Yeah. When that news came down Monday, I had like 10 different people say, you need to apply for that job because we need to hear you as an NFL voice. I was tempted. I saw said job, but then the problem came. No college radio. You have to have NFL experience. And your experience with football cannot be like student college radio. Well, I got 5 years of calling Trinity International games, so I think I'm going to go for it.
All right.
I think I'm going to use that experience and put it to, even though I got stuff in place, it doesn't hurt to throw my hat in the ring. I mean, hell, 5 years ago, I applied to be the voice of the New Orleans Saints. So I got that experience. Now, will I go through the interview process with Las Vegas? Hell if I know. But given the past year, from the blood clots to pancreatic cancer to losing my mom to beating pancreatic cancer to kicking it square in the ass, I deserve a dream even bigger than what I do. So I'm gonna see if I can gather some footage. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm just sick of this story because it just seems to have more tentacles by the day. And yes, it centers on Deshaun Watson. So there is yet another woman who filed a civil lawsuit against him. It almost is like it's almost akin to Chris Rock and his bit about Michael Jackson being accused of molesting another child, where he goes, "Another kid. Listen, I'm throwing in my glitter." I'm almost feeling that way about Deshaun Watson now. So, and it's frustrating seeing that with him, hearing some of the accounts from these women, and then hearing Rusty Hardin pop off at the mouth saying that happy endings aren't illegal. So I just felt the need to do this.
Yes.
Email Deshaun Watson. CC Rusty Hardin. BCC NFL fan woke Nicholas. Subject email. Not everybody's getting a happy ending. Body of email. Okay, let's see. So 2 weeks ago it was 22. Last week it was 23. Now it's 24. Now it's
and I will tell you what you often tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I will sit back and let you do this. Cook.
Uh-oh. Well, see, I got the command to cook. All right, here I go. All right. So 2 weeks ago it was 22. Last week was 23. Now it's 24. 24 different massage therapists are filing a lawsuit against former Texans, now current Browns QB Deshaun Watson. All right. Tony Busby, who's representing all 24 of these massage therapists, had this to say about all 24 filing. Quote, "Today we filed the 24th case alleging sexual misconduct against Deshaun Watson. The allegations made in this new case are strikingly similar to those made by many of the other victims. Lost in the media frenzy surrounding Deshaun Watson is that these are 24 strong, courageous women who, despite ridicule, legal shenanigans, and intense media scrutiny, continue to stand firm for what is right. Setting aside the legal wrangling, the complicity of the NFL, or the failures of the criminal justice system, the resounding story that should be told here is that these women are true heroes. I will say again, our entire team is incredibly proud to represent these women, and we look forward to the day when we can lay out our cases in detail in front of a jury." Close quote. Now, before I dive real headlong into this, I'm going to talk to the fans real quick. So that Critical Broncos fan says Browns were known as this team to feel sorry for when they fail. No sorries for them. I agree. I don't feel sorry at all. In fact, the Texans are glad this is not their headache any longer. Playmaker says, "Is it just me, or is this getting more fishy every day? I don't know what to believe in this whole thing, and I love Deshaun Watson." That's exactly why I'm doing this, Playmaker, because I feel the exact same way, almost verbatim as what you said, sir. That Critical Broncos fan says, "I haven't felt sorry for them in years now." I think most NFL fans don't feel sorry for the Browns. They almost pity them, and it's a shame. 6 says the Cleveland Browns need to take the Houston Texans before the league for the sucker punch of a trade. That was some vindictive mess. He says, "How many masseuses did this moron mess with in the Houston area?" He also says the Texans traded the fool, but still wanted to hamstring him. The Browns, they did the Browns dirty. They wouldn't do any team dirty, to tell you the truth. So here is the skinny. Everybody is complicit. Every single one of the big-time players in this case is complicit. Every one of those hands are dirty. Yes, even Deshaun Watson's. And I one time had, well, actually, as recently as last night, in the comment that Rusty Hardin left by saying, quote, You know, there is nothing. Oh, sorry. Let me do this correctly. I love you, Rusty, but I had to do you the way you do yourself. You see, there is really not illegal things when it comes to happy endings. Close quote. So happy endings aren't illegal. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right, but this is what you need to do, Rusty.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
You are representing a client that has 24 women who are suing him for sexual misconduct. You should not represent your client by saying something that is misogynistic in tone, fool. What are you thinking? I don't understand. What are you thinking, Rusty? Don't. There had to be a conversation in your brain where it said, "Don't say it, Rusty. Don't say that." You know them girls are gonna think that you a male whore, that you a male chauvinist, and you know they think that Deshaun's a whore. Don't do that. Don't do that, Rusty. No, you just ignored it and just I want a mic was shoved in your mouth. You just offered that.
Damn!
That is where those hands are dirty. And then let's get to some of the accounts of these 24 women. So one of these women, and I really wish I was joking when I'm saying all of this. One of these women accounted by saying that she had Deshaun in a place where he could get massaged, visit him mid-January. Something inappropriate happened. He left. He comes back 2 weeks later and he gets another massage. It gets a little more inappropriate. He comes back a third time and that same inappropriate thing happens, and then decides to cut him off and decide to no longer have any business dealings with him. That's one of the accounts. Here's another account from one of these massage therapists. So this woman said, quote, "So I was massaging Mr. Watson, and I noticed that in the midst of the massage, he got erect. So I saw the erection, and I kept going. So I saw Mr. Watson decide to tend to his penis, and he masturbated in front of me. Seeing this, I continued to massage him. And then when he ejaculated, the secretion came upon my breasts and my face. And then was when I decided to stop massaging Mr. Watson." Close quote. I'm going to save what I really think about them for the end of this email. Then we get to Tony Busby, who he has these responsibilities to slap this suit onto Deshaun Watson. And for those who don't know, he is a neighbor of Cal McNair. Who is Cal McNair, you may ask? Well, Cal McNair is the owner of the Houston Texans. And because Deshaun in January 2021 said, "I want out of Houston," all of a sudden, these massage therapists who claimed that Mr. Watson was sexually injurious to these women came in full force. And
in more ways than one.
Right. Exactly. And there is like legal representation that Mr. Busby and Mr. McNair have. So collusion, you say? I don't think there is any doubt in my opinion. So I covered Rusty Hardin. I covered the hoes. The massage therapists. I covered Tony Busby. Oh, let me get to Deshaun.
Thirsty bitches.
Let me get.
I'll add 2 words. Thirsty bitches.
Let me get to Deshaun. So, Mr. Watson, you feel the need to. Well, let me give you a bravo. Bravo. You went to a Texas grand jury twice, and you came out with your hands clean. I'm so happy for you, sir. You won't be considered a criminal, but you know what you'd be considered guilty of being? A guy who simply is thinking with his memory below his waist than the one above it.
Damn!
Because obviously you didn't get the handbook that many men get when you get to be about 15, 16, 17. You're about to go off the nest and out of the nest and into the world, when basically a father, an uncle, an older brother, or some responsible male figure would say to you, quote, do not trust these hoes out here, especially if you have money, because they will go after you for every cent you got. Close quote. Obviously, Mr. Watson, you did not receive that memo because you decided to go ham and slide into people's Instagram DMs to get massages. But really, are they massages or are they visits to a woman's house? Because in my opinion, sir, you are defraud of thought. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm not saying that you're bereft of morals. I'm saying that you, sir, are not thinking straight. You're not. And now you're represented by somebody who pretty much didn't see what you do is wrong or immoral or egregious to your career or egregious to the league or detrimental to the league. Oh, did I just say the key words that's going to have you not play it for a year? Oh, yes, I did.
Or 2. Or
yes,
2.
I did. Because you see, sir, you, because of the fact that you now have all these women who are throwing suit after your behind, you are going to be sitting for another year at least, not because of your own behest, because you can't stand where you're playing, but because the league is looking at what you did off the field as trash, as they should. They're going to look at you and say, because you, sir, are participating in conduct detrimental to the league, you, sir, are sitting again for another year.
What?
I said, you, sir, are sitting again for a year because of conduct detrimental to the league.
What?
I said conduct.
What?
Detrimental.
What?
To the league.
What?
The NFL.
What?
The Shield.
What?
The beacon of justice.
What?
That is the NFL.
What?
The National
What?
Football
What?
League.
What?
You are considered running afoul of how the league wants you to be. But it doesn't matter because you want to go to the next hoe that wants to massage you. And yes, I'm talking to you this way, sir, because being polite just doesn't cut it. So I'm going to really cut to the brass tacks of it all. When you climb into a hoe's DM, understand, son, that you're going to get a hoe as a response. You deal with hoes, you're going to get hoe service. And to me, sir, you have an issue because I believe you want to turn all these hoes into a housewife, and you can't do that. So to review, Rusty Hardin, you were a fool. You should have kept your mouth shut. Tony Busby, you basically are a pawn in the game that the Texans want to play, and you are fitting the role beautifully. Deshaun, you are a hoe, and you got to learn how to stop being a hoe and start being responsible with your wayward penis. And to the massage therapists, I never heard of anybody who professionally massaged somebody and decided to be wayward and excuse sexual acts in the midst of the massage. All of you are guilty. All hands are dirty. No hands are clean. And all of you need to get out of our faces. The sooner this case ends, the better off we'll all be. Thank God. But unfortunately, we still have to deal with all of you fools acting like you're still 13 instead of the adults that all of you are supposed to be. Ridiculous. So I'm glad that your happy ending, as your representation said, Mr. Watson, is not going to come for a long time. And yes, and for the brother that said that, well, he's got the money to take care of all the ones that he's going to hush money and pay off. He don't want one of those hoes to get any of his money because he's a hoe himself. He pimped out the Browns. He knows how it is to be a hoe. And so he don't want hoes to take his money. He's acting like a hoe because he doesn't want to give his money away to anybody else. Understood. But you got to do better, Deshaun. Please. That's all I ask. Sincerely, Cole Johnson, on behalf of Brian Snow, with Snowman Digital Media and Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, Cool Me Media, and Cole Sports with the Z. I feel much better now. So sorry, sir.
Good.
Let me get to these comments real quick. So,
please.
I'm loving this. I'm loving all of this because I've been feeling this energy, and I knew many people felt the same as me. Six says, Jaime Massachusetts is more a mess with the Houston area. He also said the Texans traded the fool, but the Browns got done dirty. Well, I think they did themselves dirty. Deeds says the Texans don't feel sorry. They created this mess. And I agree, Deeds. They did. That
and
critical progress
get a slap on the wrist for it.
No, they're not. And that's what really makes me upset about the whole thing.
Put that in the slate. Put that in the slate for tomorrow because I'm going to talk about that.
Oh, the Texans will get away with not having a slap on the wrist? No doubt.
Oh, yeah. Put that in the slate for tomorrow.
That critical Broncos fan says Rusty seems to be rusty on how to handle this. Yeah, I agree. Six says on a different note, Rusty Hardin is 80 years old. Where was the PR? Yeah, good question. Playmaker says my response would have been define happy ending, please.
Define happy ending, please. Yes, sir.
I like that.
Playmaker, love you for that.
I love that. Jim, because that's exactly, if I were to have said that to,
yes, it is.
If I was representing Deshaun, that's exactly what I would have said. Describe what happy ending means.
That's
please.
what I would do. Yeah.
That critical Broncos fans, Rusty, you fool. Oh, yes. And I will find that eventually.
I told you people will. I think I have that sound. I'll find a way to cut it and work it in.
Six says, understand that the allegations surfaced as soon as the trade was announced. You people were coming for the $230 million man that Watson was supposed to be earning. Yeah.
Yeah, supposed to be earning. He's not going to earn it now.
Yeah. Playmaker says, I feel like these women are telling the full truth. I don't think they are either, man. I seriously don't.
They're not. They're not. That's obvious.
Yeah. That critical Broncos fan says, I think Buzzard also wanted the Texans to draft Johnny Football in 2014 with a bill. Yep, they did. With a billboard, I believe. But at the time, Robert McNair, who now is deceased, he was, I won't say happy, but he was okay with where the team was going at the time, which made me shake my head when I thought of him. Six says, furthermore, has anybody inquired on how Watson conducted himself when he was playing at Clemson? There could have been accusations and allegations back then.
There's a question for you.
Yeah. 2 words. Dabo Swinney. Playmaker says, Mr. Johnson just hit a grand slam on every point. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Agreed.
Six says, also, where were Watson's possible enablers back at Clemson? I will refer to you to one Dabo Swinney. Six says, I was born in the early 80s. The only heifer that had some sensibility was Gladys the Cow on Sesame Street. That critical Broncos fan said, Rustic may have said this because he wants his cut of Watson's $230 million. You might be right.
Cuts.
You might be right.
I'll say it again. Cuts.
Mm-hmm. Six says, well said, Cole. Nas' Second Childhood sums it up. I love that song. Ryan says, it's astounding what people in power will do to impose their power onto others and tell the world they're more powerful than others. Oh, not only tell it, but display it. And Deet says the Texans won't get away. I've already said this on Fifth Down, and I said on Fifth Down, we'll be on them until the hammer comes down. And I agree. I think the hammer will eventually come down on them. But they're safe for now. It needs to, but they're safe for now. Ryan says, sick and Bessie the Borden cow. Lord have mercy.
Oh, God.
I've been feeling that energy for a minute now.
You know, and what makes it so bad is that it's ongoing, and Roger Goodell is just sitting back and letting this stuff pile up. He's
taking notes,
he's letting it pile up. He's taking notes for when he does eventually bring the hammer down. What he wants to do is make himself look good, and I can pretty much guarantee that he's going to set everything up, watch all this play out, watch it all play out, and then he's going to come marching like Gary Bettman behind the Stanley Cup with this blankety blank speech and then bring the hammer down on Watson. And I still believe that Roger Goodell is going to mess it up. Somehow, some way, Roger Goodell is going to mess it up. Don't ask me how I have this feeling, but when my spider senses go off, that happens. He is going to mess it up some kind of way.
If you want to upset woke NFL fan, tell him,
and there are plenty of them.
It won't be her. Yeah, there are plenty of them. Tell him that Mr. Goodell is going to try to make an example out of Mr. Watson, and that he's going to miss at least a year, and it may set a precedent and be more than that, because he wants to bring home the point that you can't be wayward with what you do off the field and think that you can get away with it, even if it is that you're not going to jail. And what makes me say that? Well, why don't you look at Ben Roethlisberger? He did not set one foot in jail himself. In fact, he settled twice with two different women, and both times he got the wrist slapped and got suspended. So it ain't a black thing. It is this is what you're doing thing that is damaging the league because you are thinking with your penis and not your head. So when that happens, yes, best believe that hammer is going to come down swift, hard, and sudden. Now, how it will come down, I agree. That is where he'll mess up, but the hammer is coming down. The hammer is coming down.
If it were Pete Rozelle, the late great Pete Rozelle, and he was in charge, Rozelle would utter a simple sentence: Deshaun Watson, beat it.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting thought. Cool says arbitration is going to cut down your suspension. I don't think it'll be arbitration. It'll probably be
not this time.
He'll try to appeal it. That's what will happen. But considering that the CBA is almost in lockstep with how Goodell punishes, which is odd to me, I could see the league. I could see the players actually say, as long as it isn't too stiff, we will be fine with whatever you decide. To me, if it's 2 years, they'll probably say it's too stiff, and then they'll have him walk that back. I can see that happening. But if it's a year, I don't see them saying, "Okay, wait a minute, Roger." They're
gonna try to walk that back.
Yeah. Deeds. Wouldn't it be more punishment to
see? And
force
this is where Roger needs, to grow. It said.
He should.
Yep, that would be cruel and unusual punishment. But
yeah,
hey.
But that's just how I feel, man. It's just. It seems like every time I look at this case and think, okay, well, let's just get this trial started. It's just more stuff that comes up. And I'm thinking, okay. So, and I remember as a friend of mine who said, I think when the holes were up to 10, and yes, I do mean that with my whole heart.
Yeah.
When it was up to 10, a guy says, well, you have that many women who were putting these charges on Deshaun. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I was defending Deshaun at the moment. I was like, well, no, man. This guy seems like a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
But the more I learn and the more I hear about what has happened and what is coming out of other people's mouths, especially those who represent him.
Oh, that's changed.
The more that has changed. And it makes me think, okay, well, yeah, you may not jaywalk. So you may not run afoul of the law, but if you could run trains, you want to.
Oh yeah,
and that bothers me. That critical Broncos fan says Watson had a contract worth 4 years, $156 million. That's right. Before the current deal, which is 5 years, $230 million, all of it guaranteed.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Not with all that mess. And I do mean mess.
Oh gosh,
and it's so sad.
It is.
It's so sad to see a young man put his. What did I say at the top of this case? What I said at the top of this case. It's so sad for a young man who is so talented. Makes such stupid decisions to put his career, and you know my next two words, in peril.
What sucks
in peril.
Yeah. What sucks is the one thing that people tout Deshaun most about when it comes to on the field is his mental acumen. I mean, the dude can tell you, he can break down any play that he has either practiced or run in a game. You just say, okay, so you could say 38 in the game against the Colts, third quarter, on your own 25. What were you thinking here? And he would be able to break the play down where every offensive lineman is supposed to line up, where the running back should be, where the wideout should be, where the tight end should be, and where
all that is before the snap count.
Yeah,
all that's before the snap count. All that's before the snap count, the formation, everything.
Right. Yeah. He can break it down that cold. I mean, that is what makes it so frustrating. So it's like this guy who I'm like, you possess intelligence, but in this situation, you see a pair of breasts, you see long hair, you see a butt. It's basically like poison, son. You never trust a big butt and a smile. I'm like, you do that, and the brain cells just evaporate. That is what I find frustrating about this whole situation. 6 says, Chris Deeds, even more so if the league donated its entire salary to various charities. Heck, that might be on the table, knowing them. But I know that would, but I know that would be pretty much shot down by the Players Association. Orange is the New Black says that critical Broncos
and it
fan.
Would cause it would cause such a storm. It would cause such a storm.
Yeah, it would. It would
come. All right, one more thing to do before we get out of here. We got about 10 minutes left.
Shoot, bro.
I'm reading your notes here.
Okay.
Cowboys fan defends organization for focusing on entertainment and being competitive.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take this one.
Please.
We'll let's do it. Let's finish off with that.
Okay.
a little bit of housekeeping. First. Tomorrow we'll break down Game 3 of the NBA World Championship Series. It's in Boston at TD Garden, and you know they're going to blow the roof off that joint. Who will get the advantage? We'll talk NHL hockey. The Rangers look to extend their lead in the Eastern Conference Finals, and once again we'll celebrate the Colorado Avalanche reaching the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2001. I'll share a couple of funny broadcast stories that happened with my late friend, Mark Farina, and we'll have some other stuff on the slate as well. And you know, it's Wednesday, so of course we're going to double team with the bronze sexual confessions, and good Lord, it's going to be something else. Clark Monroe is scheduled to join us at the bottom of the 10 a.m. hour to talk NHL hockey. And how about and I will say in advance, and I hope I'm right, how about those Rangers? End the reign of terror for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Not the reign of terror.
The reign of terror. The reign of terror. All right. Let's finish off with this.
Okay.
Cowboy fan, why are you defending your organization for focusing on entertainment and not being competitive? See, that explains the Tony Romo thing. That explains the Des Bryant thing. That explains not having a run game before Ezekiel Elliott shows up. That explains Dak Prescott. And that explains Mike McCarthy. Some of the players that you have drafted, brought in, everything was more focused on entertainment and not being competitive. Let me ask you a question, Cowboy fan. When was the last time you won a Super Bowl? I'll answer that. 1995. Against the Pittsburgh Steelers of all teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we talked earlier in the program about a team riding a championship for a long time. Hell, the Cubs are doing it with 2016. The Angels are doing it with 2002, and you see the end result of that. And forgot to put this in the housekeeping. Christie joins us tomorrow with his Summer of Greatness.
Top hour.
That'll be top of hour 2. Definitely can't wait for Deets to pop on. But you focus on, Cowboy fan, you focus on entertainment. That explains the palace we like to call AT&T Stadium.
Jerry World.
In the middle of nowhere, Arlington, Texas. Let me say that again. In the middle of nowhere, Arlington, Texas. I mean, yeah, Texas Stadium was no longer viable. I get that. I understand that. It needed to, the Cowboys needed a modernized stadium. And this is after Baltimore put a foot in your ass in the final regular season game at Texas Stadium.
Yep.
But what have you done for the league lately? I mean, you. Okay. I've often said that the legacy of the Cleveland Cavaliers is not LeBron James, it's Craig Elo.
Right.
The legacy of the Dallas Cowboys was the final play against San Francisco. Because, in a nutshell, you have shown what you're about, which ain't competition, unfortunately, which is about having court cases of your own, Ezekiel Elliott. And unfortunately, you're just not it anymore. America's team, my ass. Let's get out of here, please.
Sounds good. All right. Oh, yes. And to that Cowboys fan that actually had the nerve to argue me up and down and say that I understand it's a business and entertainment has a factor in it all. Yes, I'm aware. But I'm also aware that sports is competition. And whenever you want to have competition be superseded by anything else, that's when entertainment value means nil. So you can have all the ratings all you want. That's fine. But if you're happy being also Rans, as you have been the last 26 years, have at it and be my guest. It's no skid off my nose. But understand
with the 24th pick, with the 24th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Cowboys select the offseason. In my partner's immortal words.
Thank you. That's exactly what happens. Then they accept the offseason. And into
again
that fan,
and again.
And to that fan, you said that you want to know the truth, right? Well, in the discourse that we had, one thing is painfully obvious.
You can't handle the truth.
And with that, we bid you adieu. So how can people find you, sir?
B Snow Multimedia is my personal ID, and official SIT Morn is the show ID. You can look for me on Twitter and Instagram, all over the place. And tomorrow, also, we'll have another update on 100 Days to Carolina. I got a fundraiser going on tonight with Dr. Charles Faulkner. It'll be on YouTube. Awesome. Check it out. Search Charles Faulkner on YouTube, Officer Charles Faulkner. And congratulations to him on the Black Lion security firm, soon to be an official sponsor of Snowman in the Morning. We're putting that deal together. Good to see a black man advance. Great to see it. Great to see a black man advance.
Yes, it is. And yes, check the what's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Donate to 100 Days of Carolina. Help my partner and his wife go from where they are now to where they can jump off back home in North Carolina for them. As for me, you can find me on Cole Sports with a Z. That's Cole Sports with a Z on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/C/Cole Sports with a Z. You'll get similar takes like this, but it's a different type of flow. The best way I can describe it is it's a different side of the same me. I think that's the best way I can describe it. Here's a different side of the same me.
Yeah.
So you'll get more of that energy, but it's the same thing and it's the same me. So for all of us,
let me make an offer real quick. Okay, Playmaker, this season would love to have you on each week to talk Super Bowl champion Rams. I'm getting all my correspondents together. We would love to have you. And of course, every Friday, Mike Debate joins, our senior NFL analyst.
Yeah, let's roll that
for
red
Snowman.
Let's roll that red
in the morning.
Yeah, let's roll that red carpet out to Playmaker. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And of course, later on this year, Chris Dietz and college football hand in hand. And Dietz, I think this is season number 6 for you and the show rolling together. And John, I'd love to have you on as our Broncos analyst. And what I figured out about the show is something Cole taught me and many other fans taught me and many other people taught me. It's not about getting the big names. It's about getting the right names. And I believe in our family, we have the right names. Cole Johnson, take us out of here.
All right. Well, as we always like to say in closing, take care. God bless. Make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
then they are just not big enough.
That's right. Dream big. Do bigger.
Do bigger.
That's what Brian's doing. That's what I'm doing. We all know in the chat, that's what you all are doing. Hope you are doing that same too if you're listening or watching us. For all of us here at Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, for Brian Snow, I am Cole Johnson. We are here to say so long until tomorrow where we go. Finals. That's right. Game 3 of the NBA Finals is on tap tomorrow.
Yes.
Also, Summer Greetings with Chris Dietz and Bronze Sexual Confessions. All that's tomorrow. Come on back, why don't you? Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, the hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts.